Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack, this like no Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to I'm Not Gonna Hold You. This is another season. I don't forgot what season it is. I don't know. I don't really matter at this point. It is the 2025-2026 season of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. And as usual, I am your host at Barbchair Scott. And of course, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Barbchair Scott. Follow the Barber's Chair Network. I'm trying to remember how to do all of this joint and all social media platforms. Follow at Barber's Chair Co. Follow HMB Media at HMB Media TV on Twitter and at HMB Media on Instagram. And of course, follow the new Twitter page at INGHY Show. That's on Twitter and IG. Follow the new page, man. And while you are at it, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon, man. Patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network. If you watch this on YouTube, you can take your phone up to the QR code, screen it, it'll take you right there. We got a whole bunch of different tiers on there for you to check out a whole bunch of different content, man. And while you're there, you can get 25% off your first order on the Barber's Chair Network shop. That is bcnetshop.com. And also, while you're at it, if you watch this on the Barber's Chair YouTube or the HB Media YouTube, subscribe to my new YouTube channel. It's not really new. I started in the summer. I've got a lot of dope content on there. Just put a new episode up of my solo pod there. It's at Barbchair Scott. So you can take your phone up, scan the QR code, or the link is in the description box as well, man. So today is our Chicago Bears preview special. So we're going to be going through the entire thing, man. We're going to be picking our final record predictions, Caleb's numbers predictions, and we're going to talk everything Bears. We will not be on Monday, obviously, because it is Labor Day. So we'll be back next Friday. We're going to recap the first game of the NFL season, which is the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on their hated rival, the Dallas Cowboys. And then we're going to do our full NFL preview show next Friday where we preview everything that's non-Bears going on, man. But we'll be back to our regular schedule on Monday, September 8th. And since I have to cover Monday Night Football that day, we're going to do like a little first take thing where we're going to be doing a show in the morning at 10 a.m. on September 8th. But of course, we'll give you a reminder next week again, man. So shout out to everybody who was watching on YouTube, Twitter, the whole thing. We appreciate all y'all, man. So good to have y'all back, man. But now I am bringing the crew back on here, man. We have got the one and only JR Bang here. You can follow him at JR Bang. We have got Courtney in the house. You can follow her at 1-800-CALLA-BRO. And of course, you can follow Dante. Dante is working Mondays and Fridays, but he's back off his part-time schedule. We negotiated a new deal. Dante is here full-time again. So you can follow Dante at October's own tape, man. So how's everybody feeling?
I'm solid, bro. Glad to be back. The Atlanta Braves have, been disappointing, but we're still in the building. So still doing that. The Bears, I mean, we're gonna talk about the Bears. I think, as usual, I will be the glass half empty guy with this team, but I think it's gonna be a good season.
Courtney, how you feeling?
Oh, I'm fantastic, guys. It's nice to be back. For some of you that have been around for a while, I did enter fan free agency, and
Yes,
against my better judgment, I have elected to go with the Chicago Bears this season. So
we
you all notice, okay? I better see something. Now I do mirror Dante. We're gonna get into it. I mirror Dante in that my glass is not half full. We'll get into that throughout the episode.
We're gonna get into that. Courtney willingly decided to join us, to join this hellhole of being a Bears fan, but you can't get out of it now.
Well, Scott, it's you are in the trenches for so long as a Saints fan. I'm like, how much worse could it actually be?
It can get a lot worse.
So you skipping out on the Spencer Rattler experience?
I am. I have opted out of that experience.
I respect it.
I
it can get a lot worse.
If it's on at the bar, I might turn my head, see what's going on over there. But no, I've elected out of wearing the merch until proven otherwise. Stop giving teams more money. Stop giving bad teams money.
Yeah, White Sox. And Bulls. I'm putting both of you niggas in there. I want to try to stop saying N-word on this show as much as possible as well. Don't want to mess up any future endeavors that might be coming to this platform. And since the last time we've done the show, I have a different background. So shout out to my new background in the back going on here, man. But Bang, how you feeling?
I'm trying to get on this negotiation. That's what I'm trying.
Oh, that was a joke. I didn't think Dante shit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no funds were exchanged, brother.
Yeah. It gotta be funds. It gotta be funds. He ain't gonna be working me like a slave. He ain't gonna be working me like a slave this year.
Y'all niggas been off. I said I was gonna stop. Y'all black people have been off.
Who been off?
2 months.
I've been off from this.
That's what I'm talking about. I ain't got nothing to do with your other 100 gigs.
But they on here. 2 of them gigs on here, Scott.
Okay, I ain't tell you to do follow a wrestling company that goes 12 months out the year, 365 days.
Hey, kiss my ass, Scott. But nah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm actually excited to be back. I'm excited we back on the show. I know there's a lot that we got to talk about and discuss. I feel like this is going to be a depressing show for me. Considering my angst about the Green Bay Packers these last couple of years. I've said that that team was going to be in the ghetto, and they ain't. And all of my friends who are Green Bay Packers fans are going to be able to gloat after seeing this episode today. So, yeah.
Well, that was your fault. Nobody told you to tempt the football gods, number one.
That is my fault, yeah. We
have been Bears fans long enough to know not to play. And honestly, because I should be telling myself that too, because yesterday, when shout out our guy B-Dot, I tweeted something. I said, it's 99% chance that he's gonna stay with Green Bay. Stay with the Cowboys. And B-Dot tweeted, we're gonna get fleeced in the deal. For those of you who don't know, B-Dot is a massive Packer fan. And I was like, you have nothing to worry about. They don't do deals like that. And not even an hour later, as I was sitting watching the Cowboys documentary, it was me and Pat who watched the Cowboys documentary. We sipping on a little German wine while we were watching, and I felt like a gun went off in my chest when I read that notification. So, but let's just get right into it, man. The massive news that happened yesterday. Micah Parsons, the best pass rusher in the NFL, has left the Dallas Cowboys, and he is unfortunately a Green Bay Packer. He was traded for 2 first-round draft picks, defensive lineman Frank Clark, and he signed a new 4-year deal worth $188 million, and he will be making $47 million a year. And now, honestly, man, there's no way that anybody who is a Bears fan, anybody who's a Detroit Lions fan, anybody who's a Minnesota Viking fan should be happy about this deal. Last night I had a lot of copium, A lot of copium. Try to tell myself, oh, it don't matter, da 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 da. No, nigga, this is look. I'm not. I didn't say it three. I just said the N word 3 times. This is not gonna work out. But it's my favorite word. I'm sorry. It's my reparations. But I was like, yo, this isn't gonna really be that bad and things like that. And then I just kept thinking about it. This is a phenomenal trade. I don't want to hear about draft picks. I don't want to hear about cap space. You do what you got to do when you're trying to win. And I think this is a win now move for the Green Bay Packers. It's a move that I wish the Bears should have or would have made. A move that I said all summer they weren't going to make. And they're not going to add anything else too, by the way, but we'll get into that later. But it's great. It's a great trade. It's a great trade. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I want to sit here and say this doesn't make them a Super Bowl contender, but that's a damn lie. Because even in their bad seasons, Green Bay finds a way to win 10 games. This is like the reverse version of Khalil Mack going to the Bears 7 years ago. I think he's going to be an instant issue for everybody. And yeah, I mean, if you're looking for any good news here, if you're an NFC North fan, more specifically a Bears fan, they still got Jordan Love as quarterback. That's the one thing I'm holding on to. And maybe he will continue to be mediocre. But this defense took another level. This is a big move by them. And I pray for the Bears left tackle spot on this, man. But I'm going to give the floor to you first, Bang, because, Bang, you were saying that you got Packer fan friends. And, they've been letting you have it after this deal. So what's your initial thoughts on this deal?
Packers fans that are friends and family. A lot of my family lives in Milwaukee. And we have constantly battled about the Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears all my life. I would like to formally apologize to the Green Bay Packers fans and the organization for a couple of years ago saying that they're going to be in the ghetto. They're not. This organization continues, in my eyes, to do the right things. Now, has it brought them a Super Bowl championship? No. Outside of the Green Bay Packers winning with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, they have not gotten one in the last what it's almost been like 15 years or whatever. It don't matter. It's still 2 more than we've had in that time frame. It's still 1 more that's been around since my existence. It's still 2 more that's been there since I've been watching football, and they've had a lot of success more than we have in the last couple of years because they've made moves like this. This right here is depressing because when you also have a situation like the Bears at left tackle and you're going to put the premier defensive end / linebacker in the NFL on the same side as Braxton Jones or Theo Bennett or Hinsdale folks, or whoever, it's just depressing as a Bears fan or Lions fan or Vikings fan, at that matter, that this team has gotten richer and now you are set for life, basically, at the quarterback position, what we believe to be true about Jordan Love or not. They're set at the quarterback position for the next couple of years. They're set at the defensive end, which is the most important position on the defensive side. The most important positions on that field is set. Well, now they got a window. Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst, however you say his last name, they're in the last year of their deals. So we'll see if they get an extension or anything like that. We'll see what happens. Or it's coming up either this year or next year. But we'll see what happens. But it's just depressing to see a team like this continuously get the pieces that they need to stay competitive.
You said that's all you got on that. But Dante, I'm gonna go to you next, man. You said this was gonna be a depressing episode, so let's just start with the most depressing shit of the day. What's your take on this?
I won't even say depression. I think it's more so reality, like something that we really need, because I think every year we jump into the season and we're extremely optimistic, and that's part of being a fan. But I think for us sitting here, that's the last thing we should be. We got to be realistic. And this is a move that makes the youngest team in the NFL Super Bowl contenders. Their window is wide open. Ironically enough, I believe Reggie White came when Brett Favre was 27. They won a Super Bowl. They gave Micah Parsons. Jordan Love is 27. As much as people shit on Jordan Love, I'm not convinced yet that Caleb Williams is better than Jordan Love. But we're gonna talk about that this entire episode. So with the pieces around him, with everything they have on that team, bro, Green Bay is gonna be a problem for a while. So it's one of those situations where we're gonna see who Ben Johnson is, and we're gonna see what this team can accomplish, because they're gonna have to actually coach these guys up and be ready to go, because this division is loaded. I don't believe in JJ McCarthy, but I think as a whole, we know how strong this division is, and it's only gonna get worse. And now your arch rival, the team that you really shouldn't even say you're competing with, because it hasn't been a competition in well over a decade, they're loaded. So you're going to have to come correct. You have to do everything you said you were going to do. And so this is going to teach us a lot about this team. We weren't going to be Super Bowl contenders this year, so I wasn't, it doesn't really affect anything. But I think as far as the Packers, I think I wouldn't, I'll write it down. They'll win a Super Bowl within the next 3 years. I think they're that good.
So you think the Packers are going to win the Super Bowl in the next 3 years? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
The devil is a lie. I would say this. No, I do not think that Caleb Williams is better than Jordan Love. I don't think Caleb's better than anybody in the division not named JJ McCarthy. That's because JJ McCarthy is yet to play a full NFL season. But I'm still not really worried about Jordan Love at all. But Courtney, what's your take on this trade that went on last night?
It just is another I feel like Jameis Winston. It's just another obstacle that the Bears are going to have to overcome. It's just another obstacle. I'm just not as, for me, it's Jordan Love. This really comes down to Jordan Love. And kind of like Justin Herbert, I haven't seen Jordan Love replicate the same level of like play consistently enough to say that they are indeed Super Bowl contenders. That being said, it's a very, very good move, and I think they're going to be an issue, obviously, in that division. Do they win the division because of Micah Parsons? No, I still think another team will win the division, and we'll get into that as the episode goes on. But yeah, great trade. Good for him. Glad he got to the bag, and then he got out of the NFC East and out of Dallas.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, nobody said that. There was nobody on this platform who said that Caleb was better. Jordan Love numbers are a lie though. I don't want to use the eye test when it comes to Jordan Love. I don't give a damn about Jordan Love's numbers. But yeah, he don't strike fear in my heart. He don't strike fear in nobody's heart. That's the one thing that if you're looking for anything to be, remotely happy about, it would be the fact that there's Jordan Love here, and Jordan Love can and probably will fuck this up. I don't think that I'm first of all, I'm clicking a whole bunch of shit right now. Dante will get back to producing. I was just playing around with new features on him, but yeah. So excuse today. We're a little rusty today, but it's all good. But yeah, I wouldn't say. I don't know if I agree with you, Dante. They're gonna win the next couple of years, because this is not the most stacked team they've had. They've had a lot of stacked teams. We had Aaron Rodgers. I think they're a contender by default of the NFC not really being that strong of a conference. That to me, that's how I look at it. Like, if you're gonna do a 4-teamer, and of course we'll be doing our full league preview next Friday. I look at Detroit. I look at Philly, obviously. I look at Washington. Even though I think Washington as a team is going to fall back a peg or two. And then you got Green Bay. But I got to see a lot from Jordan Love this year for me to think that they can actually win one. And that's something we've seen great teams be brought down by just okay quarterback play. We see the San Francisco all the time with Brock Purdy. And I even feel the Packers feel that way now, which is why they're going all in right now, because of the amount of money that they are paying Jordan Love. They're like, all right now it's put up or shut up time for him. So that's going to be a big question. But we'll divulge more into that next week on the NFL season preview, man. But let's get into more Bears stuff as we're here. This is the Bears Bears season preview. Yeah. So I just finished my 4th training camp of my time covering this team. Preseason is a wrap, and we'll get into what I feel about the coverage of this preseason in camp in a couple minutes. But I want to talk about what we think will be a good season for the Bears. And I don't think it's really about wins and losses per se. For me, a good season is very simple. Caleb Williams, I want to know by the end of this year, by the end of this 17-game campaign, what we have in this young quarterback. And I think you're going to get the answer to that. And I don't even think it's going to take all 17 games. I have a benchmark for when I've got the worry meter. And mine is after that 8th game of the season, which is week 9 against the Cincinnati Bengals. That offense, that's in my opinion, from everything I've seen, being in camp every day in preseason, is when I think the offense should be at least somewhat hitting on all cylinders. I think this is going to be an up and down season. That to me is where I'm looking at. But we're going into week 10 against the Giants, if I'm not mistaken. Let me pull up the schedule right here. We're going into week 10 at home against the Giants, and we still have a question mark about how this offense is going to look. Then to me, the red flags will come up. But to me, a good season is you know what you've got in your young quarterback, because next year you're going into year 3. You're going into year 3 of his contract already on his rookie deal. And even if he's good, he's about to be really expensive. So you need to know that. And I also think that a good season will be they are literally in the hunt. And I'm not talking about mathematically in the hunt. No, I'm talking about actually in the hunt, and they have an opportunity to clinch week 18 in the NFL season, a chance to actually clinch a playoff spot. That to me is what I would consider a good season for this team. Bang, in your opinion, what would you consider a good season? Like not even record wise, we'll get into that later. Just what, in your opinion, what's a good season for?
Knowing that Caleb is the quarterback of the future. I think that would be that. And I think with that, the record should show. Now, I'm not going to put a wins amount on this right now, but if we know that Caleb, if we get out of the season that Caleb is the quarterback of the future, the Bears should win between 7 and 9 games. I know somebody might be like 7 underneath 500, but you got to remember that before Caleb, when they had Justin, they were at 7 wins. This is a difficult schedule. No bones about it. This is a very difficult schedule that we're looking at also as well. So that really is, outside of wins, being able to know that Caleb is the quarterback of the future is going to be really helpful when it comes to knowing what's going on with this team or not.
Dante, what's your thoughts here on what would you consider a good season for the beloved?
For me, it's just Ben Johnson establishing his culture. And we, like you talk about the eye test a lot, seeing this team and it looking different on the field, even if the results aren't there. Like if we're getting in the shootouts and we're losing games, but knowing that, hey, we got a guy who can draw up plays and scheme guys open, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like I said, my win-loss total ain't that high, but I think overall I'm not really concerned about that this year, and I think that's something that Bears fans need to be cognizant of and really dial it back, because we always come into it like, glass half full. We about to do this. If everything goes right, everything's not going to go right. It never does for any team. I mean, that's why you see a team like Philadelphia. The reason that they're so successful is because they have essentially an embarrassment of riches, where you stack your team, and so you have those issues if Jalen Hurts gets, if he's hurt, if somebody's banged up, I plug and play guys. The Bears don't have that yet. They're not at that level. So for me, it's really about Ben Johnson establishing his culture and this actually looking different. There were too many times where it looked like they had no clue what was going on. There was too many times where the defense was playing soft coverage when we needed to be playing aggressive. So with Ben and with Dennis Allen, that's all I'm looking for this season. I don't really, like I said, my win-loss total ain't that high, but I'm not really expecting them to be world beaters year one of the Ben Johnson era.
Courtney, what do you think? Like and I won't say the perfect world, because like Dante just says, no perfect world, and not just the NFL, but in sports. When the season's over, what do you think will be something you can look back and say, okay, that was a good campaign for the Bears?
Yeah, I do feel like just because of the amount of divisional opponents that you have to face so early in the season, it is going to get off to a slow start. So, like, I urge all of you that I'm talking to y'all, as in you three,
Bro,
and
you ain't gotta tell me shit. I've been watching these.
Mikey, if you're listening to this, my
Yeah,
brother,
yeah. Tell Mikey that
chill out,
because
chill out, my guy. Like, it's going to be fine. Obviously, even going 500 this season would be like, that's a win in my book. Obviously, that's not, everybody wants to go to the Super Bowl, but that's not realistic. So echoing what all of you have said, as long as Ben Johnson has the opportunity to establish his culture and his regime, and you can actually see the improvements in this team compared to former coaches and former regimes, yeah, I think that's a win in my book. I think the NFC, unfortunately, is so loaded with talent right now that it would be a very, very lofty expectation to think that the Bears are going to make a lot of noise in the NFC this season.
I'm glad to see we're all pretty much on the same page here. Like I said, I've been saying it since the third week of training camp. Patience, patience, patience. Patience, patience, patience is what I've been telling, especially our good brother Mikey, who claims he understands now, but I've known him long enough to say he does not at all, man. But let's just jump into the deep end, man. Let's talk about what is our biggest worry heading into this season. I'm gonna start with mine. Honestly, I got a couple. I got a couple worries. As somebody who was watching this team, not even just to training camp. I've been watching these dudes since OTAs. So it's been since the spring, since like late April. I've been watching this organization, this operation go on. So I got a couple of problems. My number one worry, I don't know who's that in the background fighting the heater, but my number one worry for this team is left tackle. Now, I'm not gonna fault Ryan Poles, and I will fault him in about 3 seconds. I'm not going to fault Ryan Poles for not 100% fixing everything on the offensive line. I think compared to where this offensive line was just 12 months ago, not even 12 months ago, you can say about 9 months ago, it is night and day. He has done a great job of fixing up majority of the spots on the offensive line. But this left tackle position is an issue. Ozzie Trapilio, who was the Bears' second round pick, he had a real solid OTA. He had a real solid mandatory camp, had a real solid rookie camp, he even had a solid 2 weeks of training camp. But I told a lot of Bears fans, give it time. He's a rookie. And we pretty much saw himself drop down as camp continued. And you really saw Braxton Jones reemerge again as he came back from recovering from his surgery. You had guys like Theo Benedict, who's been in the conversation. You've got Yale folks, Kyron Amagaji, who's been in the conversation. All these guys have not really been impressive. And to the point where I think this is pretty much Braxton Jones' job. Obviously, they haven't officially announced that Braxton Jones will be the starting left tackle, but I would bet good money on that being the announcement next week when I'm in Dallas on Wednesday as we get ready for week 1. So that's my number one concern, left tackle. My number two concern kind of goes back to the offensive line a little bit, is the false starts, the messed up snaps. I know the Bears signed Drew Dahlman to a big deal, and he had a lot of questionable snaps in training camp and also in preseason. It wasn't just Drew; it was a lot of people. So that's one right there. My number two concern is the defensive line. I have been saying this for a whole year. Montez Sweat is a good defensive end. I'm gonna shoot him a little bail from last year because I do believe he was hurt last year, but he's a good defensive end. He's not great. He's not a superstar. If you had to rank the edge rushers in this division, he comes in the bottom, in my opinion, out of the top edge rushers in the NFC North. And there's nobody else to help him. Like, you signed Grady Jarrett. I think Grady's had a great camp, great preseason. I think Grady's gonna be great. Dio Amagai, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. Atabango, I don't know. I want to know the exact pronunciation, so I don't want to keep messing his name up. But I'm calling him just Dio. Dio, he's kind of a project. He had a solid year with Indianapolis last year. I'm gonna be real. There hasn't been really times during camp on preseason where he's jumped off the page. Like I don't want to squint looking at talent, and he don't jump off the page. I forget he's on the field a lot of times. You hoping that Gervon Dexter takes a big lead. You know he had a good camp. You're hoping that there's gonna be somebody else. Austin Booker had a really good camp and a real good preseason, but now he's on IR. So that's my issue. And what's even a bigger issue for me is the fact that Ryan Poles has not addressed it. And a lot of people think I give Ryan Poles too much shit. There's some people who I cannot say really think I give him too much shit. But I look, man, if you look at all the general managers that the Bears have ever had, it's like a lot of them always cut corners. And I feel like Ryan Poles has cut corners too. And some people call me that I was sticking up for him when he got his extension. No, I didn't say that the extension was needed. I said it made sense. Everybody wanted continuity. That was a big word from Bears fans and Bears media. There's your continuity. This contract lines up with Ben Johnson and only like a year longer than Caleb Williams' contract. All y'all are in this together. But I'm not going to give him praise for cleaning up the mess he made. It's like when somebody wants a pat on the back for being a good father. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to take care of your kids. So I'm not going to give him credit for that. But I don't like the fact that he ain't addressed his defensive line. And what I've been saying all summer and what other Bears reporters, Brad Biggs kind of hinted at that today in his article, that he's not going to address it. And I'm not saying you had to go out there and get a Micah Parsons. I would have did that. I would have signed Josh Sweat in the offseason. But you got a guy like Zadarius Smith out there who I believe he had a good time in Detroit last year. I believe he could help this defensive line. To me, it's insane that we have heard no links whatsoever for that. So that defensive line is an issue as far as pressure. Now, I do believe there's going to be more pressure than it was a year ago just off Dennis Allen's schemes. I think just off his scheme, that'll help. But there's going to come some game. All these games are going to be close where you need to get a sack, where you need to get to the quarterback. And maybe Montez Sweat goes back to his 2023 form, and he's the guy who does it. He has been phenomenal in camp. I will give him that. He has been phenomenal in camp. Maybe that happens. But even if it does, he's going to need some help. So that is my number 2 concern. And my final word is running back. It's just that simple. The Bears tried their best to get another running back. Of course, they tried to trade up for Ashton Genty. The price was too high, and the Raiders went and grabbed them. They tried to get a couple of the 2 backs from Ohio State last year. Those 2 went off the board before they eventually drafted Luther Burden. So, there was opportunities. But you've got Eric Mungai, who they drafted, I think, like in the 5th round. He's injured. You got Roschon Johnson, who I haven't seen in weeks. I haven't seen him in weeks. He's injured. And it's kind of like DeAndre Swift or bust. You know what I'm saying? I think DeAndre Swift can be great. You know what I'm saying? Montez has been going against everybody in camp. He's been a monster. He's killed everybody. But yeah, it's just DeAndre Swift the bust. I think Swift has had a good preseason as well. But if he gets hurt, this is terrible. Like, it's to the fact where DJ Moore has been taking a lot of snaps at running back. That's how fragile this running back room is. So those are my 3 words. And those, in my opinion, are worries in 3 departments you do not want to have them. Offensive line, defensive line, and the running back room. Bang, I'm going to go to you next. What's your biggest worry or worries heading into this season?
To go in a different direction that you've went in, my biggest concern is Ben Johnson. Like, we've been in these situations where people have hired offensive wonderkins, like the offensive gurus, and they didn't work out. Ben Johnson, the head coach, has to be different than Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator. While I do have faith that we have the right person for this position, I think that, especially with the trade that happened this week, the shine will rub off paws of Ben Johnson very quickly if this team gets off to a slow start. The shine will come off a lot quickly if Caleb Williams comes out game 1 to the team that he wanted to go to, according to that book by Chef Wickersham, to the coach that he wanted to be coached by, according to that book, Chef Wickersham, and he does not look good going up against J.J. McCarthy, and this is his first regular season game. And when that happens, we all been here long enough that then there's an avalanche. So my concern is Ben Johnson. Is he the right person for this job? And is he going to have the mental makeup to deal with the press? Like, I think that he kind of, in a way, threw Caleb Williams under the bus after the Kansas City game. And the way that he delivered his unsatisfactory feelings about the offense, it made Caleb look bad. Where you had a lot of people in the media saying, yo, it really wasn't bad. It was the first two, but also having context going up against the Super Bowl champion, or excuse me, the Super Bowl runner-up, but Super Bowl champion a couple of times, Kansas City Chiefs, and their starters, and still getting used to an offense. And I understand that the expectations are high, but should we be making like all of those things? What happens if the Bears shit the bed game one? How is Ben Johnson going to come out to the press? Is that something we're going to continuously hear? Like, instead of just saying the concerns is the left tackle, the concerns is the team that Ryan Poles put together, which Ben Johnson was a part of too, without saying Caleb Williams, I think my biggest concern is Ben Johnson. And if Ben Johnson is he going to be a better offensive coordinator than he is a head coach?
I think that's a legit fear. I wouldn't put it nowhere near number one, but I don't have a problem saying what you said about Caleb. Like, I don't want him to be baby. Like, yeah, I think we all had.
I ain't saying he got to be baby. No, I ain't saying he got to be baby, but we do also got to be mindful of what we put out there, in the way that we put it out there, and what happens if he shits the bed game one, game two.
But
what happens when the team?
But I don't think that. But I don't think that's got nothing to do with Ben's delivery. Like, I don't want Ben to be up there like, oh, it was fine. It wasn't fine. We saw it.
I'm not.
Hear me out. Maybe that's his way of trying to motivate this guy and his team to do better.
Oh,
right. Like, that's my thinking, because I know exactly what you're talking about, and I thought the same thing. Bang! I was like, I don't think he threw him under the bus as much as like, dang, he was kind of like not pleased, obviously, with Caleb in that performance, right? Like, you're not wrong.
Y'all are not wrong either. What I'm saying is if they come out slow, game one, cool. Game two, Game three, all right, fam, we need something else. I'm not saying everything that y'all saying are right. What I'm saying is my concern is you go out to Minnesota, you lose, and that's your reaction. You go up against the Detroit Lions, your former team, and lose, that's your reaction.
Even if it starts bad, right? Let's just play devil's advocate. You say you just want him to like clean it up? Like, you don't want him to say what we're saying?
No, what I'm saying is it's his reaction. If they go slow, it's not going to come across well after game 3 in Chicago. And it's going to wear thin.
If I'm Ben Johnson, I wouldn't give a fuck what the media got to say.
That
to me would be my last concern.
Look, you can say that all you want to, but I'm telling you, we know this. We've been in this town. We've been in this town long enough. The new car smell will go away real fast if this team starts off slow.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying that for Ben himself, like, the media gonna say what they want to say.
But this question ain't about Ben. I don't give a fuck about what Ben's saying right now. The question was, what are you concerned about? That's what I'm concerned about. The new car smell will go away very quickly if this team starts slow.
Now, I have a question for y'all. Do you think that Bears fans have different standards than, say, this is an important example, than Lions fans?
Standards? Bears fans?
Like, are there different standards?
Bears fans don't have standards.
We ain't got no standards.
But you know what? But what I'm saying is, and I bring this up because Dan Campbell, did he not in his first season, did he not go or second season maybe? Was that 2022 when
they were terrible his first year? They were terrible his first year, and even
terrible.
But he started to turn around.
They started 0-6, but that goes to what you're saying too, Bane. Though
like that, they started off terrible, and
they started off 0-6. But what I'm saying is this:
it's
They're not going to be
two
0-6.
games of the
0-6.
season are kind of rough.
0-6
That's
is
kind of rough.
crazy. They're not going to start 0-6. But what I'm saying
No,
is
but my point is, for me, and again, bang, that's a very legitimate concern. But I'm like, dang, you got Dan Campbell, who's beloved in Detroit now, and they haven't even they've been making the playoffs, but he's loved now after starting off a little bit slow that first season. So maybe the same thing could happen in Chicago. But all that being said, different quarterback situation, because we already see how the media treats
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not debating Bang's worry. I think that's a legit worry. I'm just saying from Ben's perspective, which obviously this is not the point that we started this topic with. I'm just saying Chicago Bears fans don't have standards. According to answer your question, I know from having family members in Detroit, they wanted Dan Campbell fired that first year.
Yep.
When they started 0-6. And then it came back around. I'm telling you, Bears fans don't have the patience for an 0-6 start. The Detroit situation was much different. Detroit has been bad their entire life. Like, the Bears have been bad. But look, the Bears ain't been Lions bad.
Hypothetical, totally hypothetical. Bears start the season 0-6, but then win their last games. Are you happy with that? If in a crazy scenario where they win the last 12 games? How do you?
Yeah, they're in the playoffs.
As long as they make the playoffs, I don't care how they start. It's a long, but I will say this to Bang's point.
All
if
this
they start off
0-6 start, then
yeah, I don't care. It's how you finish when you start. But
okay,
am I going to enjoy it the first 6 weeks? Absolutely no. But that goes to Bang's point. The new car smell. I don't even think it's going to take 6 weeks. If they lose Monday Night Football at home to JJ McCarthy, that smell is out the door. Like this
JJ McCarthy has a really good team around him. I think that's
Yeah, he does, but it's still his first NFL game. They don't take him back.
But I still think it's unfair.
I feel you, but that's actually
Detroit, that's unfair.
That's actually part of my point. It's unfair for that. It's unfair to me. It's still been unfair to put all of this pressure on Caleb Williams to be successful this year in this offense that he's just got to. You look at the media, nobody says anything about JJ McCarthy. Nobody says anything about Drake May. Nobody says anything about Michael Penix Jr. in their training camp.
Counterpoint.
Well, Caleb
the Bears
Williams
are a charter
is
franchise.
No, that's what I'm going. But the Bears are not. But the Bears are a charter franchise. Caleb Williams is the number one pick in the NFL draft. So it's already unfair. It could be unfair, but life is unfair. So that's why my worry is, if they come out starting slow, the Hawks will be out. Sports radio are going to be in an uproar, and people are going to be wondering if Ben Johnson is more Adam Gase than he is Sean Payton. He can turn it around, but the car gonna stink.
I 100% agree with that. I was going to say this, and then we're going to go on to the next topic. I would say this. You are 100% correct on that, Bang. What I'm saying is just from what I could be wrong as hell, by the way, because being a great offensive coordinator is different than being a great head coach. But from just what I've experienced being around this man the last 7 months, even if it starts very badly, I believe he's a man who can turn around. I believe his locker room. I believe the head coaches. I believe the players will still be on the same page. And I think there's what's the word I'm looking for? There is the trust level in Hallis Hall is as high as I've ever seen it. I think the team trusts Ben Johnson, even if there was a slow start. And honestly, the players have kind of been preaching this might not start off fast. So I think they're all kind of on the same page that this might take a while. So I do believe that the fans, the media are going to have zero patience. But I think the best thing that Caleb himself learned last year was it's not going to get worse than last year. And so they already know how to move in chaos. So if it did start that way, I have faith that they can move on. But let's go to kind of flip it a little bit. The thing that we're the most confident on. I'm going to start first because kind of just what I was talking about. Ben Johnson. That's the number one thing I'm confident about. I just think he's the guy. Could be wrong. So for all y'all try to clip this up 9 months from now, Scott was wrong. I could be wrong, but it feels like he's a man with a plan. It feels like he knows how to maneuver through BS. He knows how to maneuver in storms. We just talked about the slow Detroit start. And I think he has a plan. I think he knows that we're heading into treacherous waters. And that if we can just do this, that, and the third, we'll be fine. So that's the thing I'm most confident about. I'm not really that confident in anything else outside of this, because everything else to me is just wait and see. But I truly feel that they've got the guy here in Ben Johnson. And now he just got to show us that he's the guy. Dante, what is something that you're the most confident about in this season?
Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. There is nothing to be confident about. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I agree with you about Ben. I do think Ben is the guy, but I mean, things can historically go wrong. But as in terms of what I'm most confident about, nothing at all, bro. Like I'm really in 100% wait and see mode. I do think I love everything I've seen from Ben. I remember before we hired him, it was a lot of he said, she said. I wanted to see him speak, and as he spoke, I think he does, like you say, have a plan. But I mean, anything can happen with Caleb. I go back and forth about Caleb because I mean, it was just at the end of the day last season, even though he didn't have a terrible season, some of the throws he missed, that's a number one pick, don't miss those throws. There were a lot of throws up the seam, a lot of simple plays that he just didn't get. And so if that continues to be an issue, then we got problems. But nothing, bro. I'm sorry. I was gonna try to say somebody and just to be on theme, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't have any faith in anything with this football team.
It's still funny to me that you can have faith in Colson Montgomery not being Gordon Beckham. But
I'm just saying that he's on a 60 home run pace per 62.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we've seen that before. But Courtney, what would be something that you're the most confident about in this season?
I do think Ben Johnson is the guy. I think Ben Johnson's the guy. I also really like Dennis Allen as our defensive coordinator. Now that I can say that, I think he reminds me of Spags in the sense that like he might not be a very good head coach, but I think when he has the ability to focus on one task and doesn't have to like operate multiple sides of the ball, yeah, I think you could have something special there with Dennis Allen. So yeah, I think your coaching staff. You might have finally figured it out.
Bang. Okay, you said your number one word. What's your number one thing you're confident about?
Dennis Allen. Like, I think this defense is going to be way better than what people are talking about right now. I think it hurts that Austin Booker's not gonna be there. But I do think the interior with Grady Jarrett is going to be able to help out Montez Sweat. I think the linebacker core is a bit underrated. I think that the defensive backfield, if Jaquan Brisker is healthy, is one of the best in the NFL. And I do believe that this defense knows and understands for the first couple of games of the year, they're going to have to turn it up. And their hope, the same hope I had last year, was that the defense knows and understands that they're going to have to carry this team for the first couple of weeks as Caleb Williams as the offense grows. I think this is going to be the same situation this year. I believe that the defense knows and understands that they're going to have to be the dogs on the team, and then hopefully that the offense grows as the season goes on. And I'm very confident that Dennis Allen is the right defensive coordinator for that. As Courtney said, he's probably not a good head coach, but he's a great coordinator. And all of his defenses as a coordinator are always successful. I see, if we're looking at track records, the only coach that's on here that has a track record the only two, that have track records in the roles that they're in, successful track records, is Dennis Allen and Eric Bieniemy. But the running backs hurt. So Dennis Allen, I really have trust in that defense is going to be very good.
I got a lot of trust in Antoine Randall L, by the way. And put some respect on his name because he's assistant head coach. I want to keep telling people that because he's very involved in the game plan. He's just not a wide receiver coach. We've seen what he did with the wide receiver in Detroit. And to me, he's already been doing this with that. I am not a gambler. But if I was, I would put a large amount of money on Roma Dunze's totals this year. I think he is going to be the number one receiver on this team. I think Roma Dunze is going to be great. Now this next conversation, I've been interested to have this for a while because Bang and Mikey always put the the clips from national media and even some local media. I know my Twitter thread ruffled some feathers a couple days ago, but guess what? I don't give a fuck. Can't none of y'all fight me. So I want to talk about the media scrutiny around Caleb Williams because I really feel like it is like gone to another level so far in this early season. Now we all know he was going to face a decent level of scrutiny just because he was the number one pick. Not only just the number one pick, he was called the generational talent. He's the next Mahomes. A lot of people don't like that he played for USC, that, he's in his own world. He's a little Hollywood. He's the first NIL quarterback, superstar quarterback of that era, to be real. He paints his fingernails. And, of course, also after the Seth Wickersham story came out by him wishing he'd have went to the Vikings. And on top of all of that, you got the fact that he's the Chicago Bears quarterback, a team that I believe there is a Bears tax in national media because they just don't want to see the Bears win. I have no logical reason for that. To me, it's just like how they talk about the Knicks. Like, I think that people just like talking about the Bears and they want this kid to fail. My personal opinion is this. Now, from the local media, I find it very funny, and I'm going to say this again, that we are so hell-bent and adamant about telling everybody what a generational or what a franchise quarterback looks like when we have not had one in Chicago. We hold this man to ungodly standards. We in camp counting reps. And I said this on my podcast this morning, and I'm going to continue to say it. Fans should not be allowed at training camp. And not only should fans not be allowed at training camp, I believe media should have our access. I'm saying this as a member of the media should be cut. I'm going to be 100% real with you. I don't believe we should be able to describe in great detail what goes on in practice because this is practice. And this is not just a Bears thing. I've seen this across the league where we're counting passing attempts in practice. And there's any place where you mess up, it's practice. So that's just asinine to me. Now, the main culprit here is Colin Cowherd. And here's my theory on Colin Cowherd and that coward Jason McIntyre who blocked me because he's a sucker and I'd smack him if I ever saw him. Jason McIntyre talking about Caleb like he knows him. And Colin Cowherd came to Chicago, moved to Chicago, and acted like just because he moved his operation, that he was going to get access from the Bears and from Caleb Williams. And when that didn't happen, he switched the storyline on. Remember 12 months ago, he's one of Caleb's biggest supporters. Now, every time we go to that failing network, Fox, he's talking about what's going on with Caleb Williams.
You just sounded like Donald Trump, like a Donald Trump tweet.
Failing network.
Failing network.
Fox Sports 1. It's very bad, very bad. But that's what I feel about this. And I feel like since Caleb and his team are no longer given that access, it's bringing Caleb down. And they're going to be doing this every week. They're doing this in the games they ain't started yet. He could go out there and kill for 4 games. Let's just say he put up a stinker on Monday Night Football against Jaden Daniels. Oh, they should have. I'm prepared for all the BS this year. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad. I'm going to go to you first, man. What's your thoughts on this and everything going on? And I stand by every word I said, by the way. Go ahead.
First of all, I did not know you was blocked by Jason McIntyre. He probably need to block me too.
He's a sucker.
He would block me too if I was on Twitter like that heavily. Him and Sam Acho. Look, I understand this comes with the territory that he's the number 1 pick in the draft from USC by way of Oklahoma, by way of Gonzaga Academy in D.C. He's been a big market all his life, for the exception of Oklahoma, but also with Oklahoma being a top flight program and being a number 1 quarterback in his class and all that stuff. That comes with the territory. Totally get it. Totally understand it. But it's very clickbaity. And that's why I don't like this. And as somebody that works in the media in the way that I do, like, I know clickbait when I see it. I know when you're trying to draw ratings when you see it, and that's why I typically look at this at sports television as comedy or a drama. I was making fun of you because I know you love the Bear, and I was like, yeah, this is like watching the Bear. This is like watching a TV show because I know it's clickbaity. When you telling people that people are going to be a bust after their first year, like CJ Stroud, not saying that he was a bust, but he had a down year his sophomore year. You got, again, I said earlier that Drake May, we have not seen Drake May passes on the national media like we've seen Caleb Williams in practice with no context. JJ McCarthy, can the national media sit up and tell us how JJ McCarthy has been in practice? No, they cannot. But yet they continuously say that JJ McCarthy is going to lead the Minnesota Vikings to the NFC Championship game. They consistently say that the New England Patriots could be a fringe playoff team because of Mike Vrabel is going to get the most out of Drake May. But they ain't seen no clips. Hell, not only if they not seeing no clips, I ain't heard nobody from Minnesota come on any network to talk about JJ McCarthy and what he's been doing in practice. I ain't heard nobody from Boston media come on national platform
And the people
talk
who
about.
have, Diana Rossini said it is not looking good. She
Yeah,
said she don't want
exactly.
press the panic, but
Diana Rossini. I will shout out Diana Rossini because the two people that I have seen in the national media that I feel like have been neutral and I feel like they've told the story, whether it's good or bad, is Diana Rossini, and through her, Chase Daniel. Outside of that, it feels like everybody has an agenda, and that agenda is to get clicks off of Caleb. I'm not sitting here protecting Caleb, not sitting here saying that, no, he's looked great in practice because Scott told us and stuff. You have told us on the local scale that, hey, today was bad. Oh, today was promising. But on the national media, we saw more about that doggone net thing before context was given, and even after context was given, people were still running with that story like it was a real practice thing that was going on. And that's why I pay attention to this like it's a TV show. But it is not unfair. At the same time, though, this is what comes with the territory when you are a number one pick. This is what comes with the territory when you are a generational talent. This is what comes with the territory when you've been number one every place you go. I get it. I just don't like the fact when people are using clickbait and lies to get ratings off of this young man.
yeah, I 100% agree. And by the way, I'm not protecting Caleb either. I just don't like Jason McIntyre. I just want to put that out there.
I don't like him either. Is he from here? Did he come
I don't know.
with?
There's other stuff I want to say about him, but we're not on Somerset Street. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that to my black ass self. Dante, what do you think about the media scrutiny around Caleb so far?
It comes to territory. You're the number one pick. You would herald this generational as much as people don't want to acknowledge it. His team is a big part of that. Like you said, he is the first NIL quarterback. And we've seen it throughout sports and in multiple sports where, you know, players younger and younger now have a team behind them that's pushing them, and that's allowed them to get certain things that other athletes didn't get. And it may sometimes put them in positions and in conversations that they shouldn't be in. Not saying that Caleb shouldn't be seen as, you know, an elite prospect, but at the same time, we can be honest about it. He played in 2 weak conferences. When USC switched to the Big Ten, shit didn't look as smooth. And obviously, players left USC. He didn't have his best weapons, but still, it was spade to spade. So I think it's warranted. We could, you know, play the media game. And media, that's one thing with those guys. We don't know all of that, but I think it comes with the territory at the end of the day. When you are the number one pick, the Bears tax may be real, but at the same time, they've given you every reason to implement that tax. Like everything that people are used to them doing is what they've done. And with us, I think with Ryan Poles, it's been refreshing to see somebody really try to gut this thing, you know, take it up by the root and really reshuffle the deck and put us on the footing where we're trying to actually build from the ground up the right way. And I think they've done that outside of the D-line. But I mean, as far as Caleb, no, it's all warranted. Because like I said, you can't tell me you're generational, then you come in and miss some of the throws that he misses as somebody who's labeled as generational, even with the offensive line issues and things like that. So I think it's warranted. It's going to continue, and until he consistently performs and we have a, just clear path of who he is, what he is, you're going to keep getting it.
Courtney, what's your take on all this? I think Dante, I do agree that some of it is warranted. I just think they put a little more dip on their chip. But Courtney, what's your take on the scrutiny that he's been getting before he even really throws a ball in the second season?
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. But again, it just comes with the territory. Again, you were the number one pick, have been touted as a generational talent throughout your entire collegiate career. And now again, is it unfair? Absolutely. I think comparing it to like JJ McCarthy is maybe slightly unfair because JJ McCarthy is coming off an injury. So we haven't seen him yet, but they had a terrible offensive line last season. The Bears did. So, I mean, they've made some improvements. You have the opportunity to prove everyone wrong to a degree. I don't think you proved them wrong by winning 7 games this season. I don't think that's how you get out of that hole. I think you got to go 500 on the season if you at least want to begin that conversation and start that dialogue. But yeah, it's unfair. But like Bang said, life is unfair. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, man. So
basically, you saying what Ace told Mitch, or Mitch told Ace, you tough, right? So let's talk about different expectations we have for different sides of the football. So I want to bring up the Bears 53-man roster, which was confirmed a couple days ago. As you can see right up here on the screen, we've got the running back rooms, quarterback. The Bears are going to be holding 3 quarterbacks. So that's Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, shout out to Tyson for his new contract, and Case Keenum. He's been hurt the last couple weeks, but he will be the emergency quarterback. So you got your tight ends up there, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, Durham Smythe. You got the running backs, wide receivers. The wide receiver room is the best I've ever seen it. As a Bears fan, Alex Pauls, by the way, in the chat. You can see the DL on here. So yeah, that's pretty much the roster. Let's go with the defense first. Defensive expectations that you have here for this team. I don't know where the hell Dante just went, but he just exited himself out. But anyway, defensive expectations. For me, I expect this to be a very strong group. I do not think this is going to be something where they're, world beaters. I think it'll be a little bit better than last year. I think it'll be better than last year because I think the play calling is going to be a lot more aggressive than it was last year. Matt Eberflus's defenses are bend but don't break. Like, they're not going to give up a lot of points, but when it's time to get a stop at the end of games, they're not going to get it. And they can be very soft on 3rd and 4th downs. You're not going to see that from this defense whatsoever. I think you're going to see an aggressiveness that we have not seen in a couple of years. And I think that they have enough talent, if healthy. I just want to put that out there. If healthy. Now, Jalen Johnson, I believe, is going to start week 1. He's, been ramping up these last couple of weeks. He's been doing one much before the game. We'll see if he practices on Wednesday. But from all accounts, everything I've heard, everything that Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson have told us, that he will be starting week 1. But we don't know how he's going to be. He ain't participated since like mandatory camps. So we have no idea if Jalen's going to be as good and is going to be ready in game shape. So there's question marks there as well. But overall, I think this is going to be a nice, solid group. I don't know if they'll be top 10. It wouldn't shock me if they could get into the number 10 spot. But I think it's going to be another number 12 or number 13th ranked defense. I think it'll be good enough. And I think it will keep the game very winnable for this Bears offense every time. Dante, I'm going to go to you first. What's your defensive expectations?
More than anything, I just expect them to be in a very aggressive unit. I'm expecting a lot from the DBs. I didn't like seeing that Jaquan Brisker was left on the cart. He was tweeting like he's good, so hopefully he's good. But I mean, he tweets all the time, so we'll see with that. But I think there's going to be a very aggressive unit, and you're going to see Dennis Allen actually try to scheme up pressure as opposed to just sitting back in a cover two and trying to see, whatever happens. We do have two very good linebackers in Edwards and Tremaine. So I want to see how Dennis Allen uses them to add to the pressure as opposed to just strictly banking on your defensive line, which is not your strong suit. Like Dennis Allen ain't no dummy. So he knows how to scheme up a defense. So that's probably my biggest expectation from them is just to be aggressive. With the addition of Al Harris, who has been literally creating Pro Bowl cornerbacks. So I'm interested to see what he does with the depth on that team. And, they were talking about the versatility of Kyler Gordon and him possibly playing some safety. So I'm excited about that unit, but I think the DB unit, but the defense as a whole, I think you're going to see a very aggressive unit, and that's going to be, a welcome change for us. Because even with Lovey, they were fast, but it was very much a cover two. And if Julius Peppers got there, cool. But other than that, we're going to play this cover two and, do what we do. So I think it's going to be a welcome change.
Now, Courtney, I know you said no comment with you, but I do kind of got a specific question. You would know more than anybody with Dennis. What can we expect from Dennis Allen? So, what would you say should be expectations for a Dennis Allen-led defense?
I said it earlier. I think that's probably something that y'all will be able to hang your hat on this season. If there are no other victories that you can get out of this season, if maybe you don't see the development out of Caleb that you wanted, I think Dennis Allen is a fantastic defensive-minded coach. And I think if he only has to focus on that, then I think you're in a very, very good spot. And with the talent that y'all do have on that side of the ball, I think it could be interesting, especially the safety room. The safety room for the Chicago Bears moves me. In a Dennis Allen system, I'm moved by that. So yeah, I'm curious to see.
By week 4, we're gonna have you saying "we." That's my mission. By the way, I entered the college football fan transfer window too. I'm rooting for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So I took much to Bangs.
You didn't even let me state my case about the Arizona State Sun Devils.
I don't want to hear that case.
Or the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is insane.
I will never root for anything from Alabama. I will never root for anything from Alabama. Definitely not. But
Same.
I know Bang roots for Michigan, but Bang, what are you confident about? Well, you're not confident, but what's your expectations for this defense?
I think this defense is going to keep us in a lot of games. I think this defense is going to be a defense that teams that play the teams that we play against the next week are going to have some issues. I feel like we're going to see more blitzing than we've had in quite some time. And I feel like it's going to be some unsung heroes on this defense too. Like I think Grady Jarrett, who we have not seen yet, is going to be big for the interior. He's going to be big for Gervon Dexter. He's going to be able to help Gervon and others move around. I'm actually interested to see Chris Williams on this defense too. Like I liked seeing him on the field in the interior last year. So even though Austin Booker is going to be out for the first 4 weeks of the season, I do feel like we have enough members on that defensive line to really, really do some damage, or at least keep us in games, because you're going to be able to see more pressure than we have in the last couple of years. And even last year, we was in the middle of the pack of that anyway. So I think that's going to be a big improvement. And I do think the Bears will have a middle of the pack, or at least possibly a top 10 defense with Dennis Allen there.
Now, side note, this has nothing to do with the Bears, but I forgot to say this when we came on. What did you guys think of y'all been in the intro? Did y'all see the new intro video?
I appreciate it. I felt like I got a raise.
So shout out our guy Nikhil taking care of everything. I know I gave y'all vague instructions for the video, but y'all did good.
I had an idea.
If you
all I had to say was black sitcom, and y'all kind of, when they come on Family Matters and niggas be on there like posing like this and shit, like that.
If you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere, that's how I felt. Like I felt like I was a part of something.
We should have the N-word count in the corner every time I break my own rule, because I'm definitely on 5 right now. I'm gonna try to get better at this. But let's move on.
Actually, can
Go
we
ahead.
make a swear jar and then like we divvy that money out in between us at the end of the season?
That's
would
a
put
good
you
thing.
as-
Pizza
that would stop
party.
you.
But I don't want to say it. I don't want to stop saying it in my everyday life. I just want to stop saying it on this show.
That's
But
fine.
We had a
that would
swear
probably
jar. We had a swear jar in the 6th grade, and we had an amazing Christmas party because of it. Amazing Christmas party in the 6th grade. Cuss
let's
our
go
ass
on
off.
to let's go on to the offense, man. The offensive expectation, which is a lot more of a mixed bag, or like, kind of like on the wall a little bit about what we expected here. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: I'm expecting nothing. I'm gonna do my Dante here. I'm expecting nothing offensively, okay? Because I've been here too many times. We're expecting the offense to look a certain way, and we're specifically here. 7 years ago with Matt Nagy, everybody, he called plays Vandy Reed, which we'll eventually find out he called plays Vandy Reed for 2 games. Okay, the rest was Andy Reid calling Andy Reid stuff. I have an idea what I want it to look by. By the end of the year, I want it to at least be 15th. And maybe I'm putting too much dip on my chip for asking for that. But at least 15th, 16th ranked offense. But as far as what I'm expecting nothing. I am going to be doing this season from an offensive perspective, because for the history of this franchise, defense, even when it's not great, outside of 1 or 2 years, it's never really been bad. You got the Mel Tucker years, but outside of the Mel Tucker years, it's never really been bad. It's been mediocre. The offense has been bad. I will be 37 in 2 months.
Ooh.
It has been bad. Okay, we ain't gotta do all that. It has been bad.
That was funny.
That was crazy. She hit me with the Kevin Hart over Don Cheadle. That was nuts. But it's the other thing that when people talk about your age, I could be dead. So shout out to me for still breathing. But out of the 37 years, 36 of them I've been watching poor offense, and it's even to the point where I remember in 2018 when Matt Nagy tricked y'all. People called me a madman when I was out on Matt Nagy week 11. When I saw the interception fest between Mitch and Jared Goff on Sunday Night Football, I was like, okay, yeah, Nagy's not it. Like, I'm not falling for the bad RPO merchant that he is. And so I have no expectations this time. I hope it looks like we wanted to look like, but I'm expecting absolutely nothing. Courtney, what are your expectations for this offense?
I think it's going to be a relatively well-rounded passing offense. That running back room leaves a lot to be desired, which I don't know how you go about fixing that, but like every offense that I know of that's a quality offense around the league has at least 2 quality running backs. Now, that being said, I'm a fantasy football fanatic and self-proclaimed junkie. I will be looking for Kyle Monangai somewhere in the later rounds. We're going to throw him in there. That being said, there's a lot to be desired. I do think having Colston Loveland will be big for Ben Johnson in that offense. I don't think y'all might be a little upset with me when I say this. I don't know if I think any receiver in this Bears offense is going to have over 1,000 yards this season, because I think there's going to be a lot of wealth distribution. If you catch
what's funny? That sounds like a hot take, but it's not really a hot take.
It's not a hot take, right?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the weapons that are available on this offense and just how Ben Johnson has kind of like, even in Detroit, how he liked to spread the ball out. I think I see a scenario where DJ Moore has 800 and something yards. Rome Odunze has 750 yards. Colston Loveland has 500 yards. I don't see a scenario where any Bears receiver or tight end has an overwhelming amount of touches, receptions, any of that. I don't see it. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. That's great for scheming.
Can I just say this, Santana Tar, whoever the fuck you are, I am a Bears fan. I would like to be wrong. So if
I
I
would
block you into oblivion,
I would also like to be wrong. I hope I'm
yeah,
wrong.
I would love to be wrong, but it's a little. I try to be a little bit called non-biased. So yeah, fuck out of here. Anyway, we back. I'm cussing out random people in the chat. Go ahead.
The reason I think they might not get 1,000 yards because I think Colson can get 1,000 yards. I think the way this offense is going to be set up and his skill set, he's very much a George Kittle type of guy. So I could see him having wide receiver 1 type stats, depending on how comfortable Caleb gets with him and how fast he gets with him. So I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think you could have, like you said, a few guys with 850, 900 yards, but your tight end is going to have a lot of yards in this system. So I could see that 100%.
Hey, man, Love Land Records. Love Land Records. Shout out to R. Kelly, man. Love Land Records. That's what I'm looking at. I think this is.
We saying the N-word and shouting out R. Kelly. We are wild.
Shout out to R. Kelly. Love Land Records. I'm gonna find that Love Land Records. I'm gonna find that Love Land Records CD, and I'm gonna make a hoodie off of that joint. Yes, Love Land Records.
Hey,
I think that's the person that we need to look out for the most, Colston Loveland. I think it's going to be a lot of passes coming his way. I think we're going to be surprised on how many deep passes come his way too. And I do believe both him and Rome have the potential of getting 1,000. Ain't nobody saying they're going to get 1,400 and 1,600 yards, but I could see 1,001 for both of them, or at least in a Colston case, I won't say a year like Sam Laporta had the last year or the year before when he broke those records. But last year, I think he had like 83 passes for a little bit under 1,000. I could see a year like that and a Jameson Williams type of year for Rome Odunze.
Yeah, I mean, I think Courtney, you had the best comment. I'm really concerned about that running back room. The reason I'm saying that, I know I'm concerned.
And
I
think DeAndre Swift is talented.
But see, Swift, Dre ain't my.
First off,
Dre ain't my issue. My Dre is it. My issue is if he gets hurt. That's what I'm worried about. And also
because Johnson is like the guy that you put in just to get a touchdown, and even then, it's almost like
he's been hurt for like 3 weeks.
But I'll say this about the running back room: if the offensive line blocks, it won't matter. Like if we have people out there creating holes, they will be just fine. Like the way Ben schemes it up. And I you know how I feel about running backs. I would never pay one. I wouldn't draft one higher than the 5th round. That's just me. Yes, if the offensive line does what they need to do, this conversation is going to change immediately. Yeah, I'm going to say you have those elite guys, and that's why I shout out to Ryan Poles because he tried to go get Saquon. Like, unless you have the best of the best back, bro, you just need a guy that can find that hole and fall forward. Give me 5-6 yards, catch passes out the backfield. We already have that with Swift. We know what he does in the screen game. So if the kid we just drafted out of Rutgers is anything like Buddy in Kansas City, we'll be okay. So it's really and it goes back to I didn't answer this question, but the concern about the offensive line. If that money we spent ends up being a good investment, now a lot of the questions we have won't be there. Caleb will be able to, go through his reads. He won't have to do the superstar stuff. He won't have to do the stupid spin he does and all of that. It'll be more just running the offense. So I think it's a lot of just not hoping, but trusting that the investments you made in the trenches, which you have finally addressed, works. Because I mean, Thule is a Pro Bowler. Buddy, who played with Ben in Detroit, was a monster in Detroit. We talk about Dom, and I'm not really worried about the snaps because I know it may not look as clean, but as far as I'm concerned, as long as Caleb catches the ball, we all right. Like we good. The snap could be high over here, whatever. As long as they don't throw the playoff, I'm cool with that. So I think that's something that I could see why the running back room is a concern. But my biggest concern is Caleb Williams. It is like that is like, and my expectation is I need him. Like I said, I need him to have a firm grasp of this offense. And I like the way that Ben has been coaching him, because I feel far too often people try to baby people and say, we're going to keep the training wheels on, give it to you piece by piece. Ben is like, no, I'm going to throw everything at you, see what you grasp, and then we'll adjust that way. And I think that's a better way of trying to teach somebody who, allegedly has the talent that he has. If he's that elite, this will be the best way for him to develop, I think. And so offensively, my expectations are for Ben to really establish his personality on this offense, similar to what I said earlier. But I think that's really what it's going to come down to. We can't put exact numbers on it. I do think the tight ends are going to have much bigger numbers than people anticipate, especially Loveland. I think Cole Kmet won't be forgotten. I think he's still going to get some yardage. I think it was a reason they called that same route for him in that first preseason game at home, just so people know that he still will be a valuable part of this offense. But my offensive expectations, I think, is really more so predicated on Ben as opposed to everybody else. Ben establishing who he is and letting people know, yes, I'm going forward on fourth down. Yes, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to move the ball vertically down the field. You're going to see – I'm not really concerned about the trick plays. I know that was something that became commonplace in Detroit, and we always see, Darnell White high-pointing balls in practice. I don't care about that, bro. You play right tackle. That's what you do. That don't matter to me. But I think overall it'll be Ben putting his stamp on this team. He already done it with, little things like the blue end zones and stuff like that. And even, like I said, just the offense as a whole. That is what that's my expectation. We will see, good or bad, who Ben Johnson is. To JR's point, we'll see if he's Adam Gase or if he's the offensive genius that people think he is. So we'll see that quick.
That's a good point. Now it's time for part of the show where everybody's looking for. We start predicting stuff, man. So the first question is like a two-part question we're gonna start with. The reason why the Bears will make the playoffs and the reason why the Bears won't make the playoffs. I'm gonna start with the reason the Bears will make the playoffs. The reason the Bears will make the playoffs is because Ben Johnson is more Sean McVay than he is Adam Gase. And that is because Caleb Williams is going to go to the next level. He's going to take the good things that he did do last year and make it better. Do the easy passes. Hit on the throws, like you said, Dante, he didn't hit last year. Have faith in his offensive line. Have faith in his vision, which I believe is part of why he holds on to the football too long. Is because I don't know if people 100% trust what he's seeing and he's so scared of making a mistake. So that's one. And three, because the offensive line blocks. Now, we spent a greater part of last year debating about, is the offensive line fault? Is it Caleb's fault? Out of them 68 sacks that happened last year, I believe at least 30 of them was on Caleb. And then I take the other, whatever half left of that was left, I'll put that on the offensive line. But if those three things connect, this will be a playoff team, which goes to why they won't. I mean, I think this is a pretty simple question here, and I don't know if y'all have different answers than I do. It won't work if the offense is inconsistent all season, or it's just not hitting it. Caleb's just not processing it, and he really doesn't make any type of significant leap from last year. If that's the case, this is going to be a long, very disappointing season. Then not only are they going to miss the playoffs, I still think they can have a good season even if they miss the playoffs. It's all about how this offense looks. It doesn't really matter how the defense looks or all the other stuff we've been talking about. It is on these three groups of people: Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and that offensive line. That to me is the make or break on what this season is going to be, outside of the other facts like injuries and shit like that everybody in the league is subjected to. That's going to be the make or break for me. Bang, what to you will be the main reason that they do make the playoffs and the main reason why they wouldn't make the playoffs?
The main reason why they make the playoffs is the defense. I think that the offense is going to see growth all year long underneath Ben Johnson's leadership. And yes, Caleb has to become what we think he is in order for us to be successful. But if the defense does not understand that they're probably the top of the food chain right now, if the defense don't understand that this team is theirs for the first couple of weeks, and we shit the bed on a couple of these games, then we won't be able to pick up enough wins by the time that the season is over with, around the time the season is over with, in order for us to get to the playoffs. So I believe that the defense has to set the tone this season for the Bears to make it to the playoffs. Um, the opposite of that is if the offense never shows up. And if the offense never shows up, we don't have a chance at all. Like the offense is gonna have to turn it around. I don't care. Like it needs to be before week 6. Like by week 6, we should have a true idea about what's going on. And I think that's before the New Orleans game. But whatever,
Yeah,
but that
I got it after the Cincy game. I think it's gonna take a little longer than that.
I mean, but the Cincy game is still going up against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Week 7 is New Orleans, by the way.
There we go. So that's why I said week 6. That's what I'm saying. Because then by the time you get to New Orleans, you should be beating the hell out of the teams that you should beat. And you should show out against those teams that you should show out.
But that's
out
why
for.
I got Cincy as the final one, because they're gonna lose to Baltimore. Like you gotta blow out New Orleans, and you gotta blow out that terrible defense of Cincinnati. That's
it's games like the Ravens. Like the Ravens game is we gonna get our ass beat. Like if you show any sign of life there, whether you good or bad, like with the team that we have, that's what I'm saying. By that game, by week 7, we should have an idea, and that should be a spotlight game. That should be a game where okay, everything is starting to click. So now that's the tape that we should look at to say everything is clicked. And yeah, we're gonna have those games like going up against the Baltimore Ravens and even against the Cincinnati Bengals, because even though that defense is bad, it's still the Cincinnati Bengals, and you going there. So it's still some stuff that you got to do. But by week 7, I really feel confident that we would have an idea about what this offense is, even if they have a shitty game against a team that's a Super Bowl contender.
Boy, y'all not gonna like my my season prediction.
Hey, shit.
Yeah, when we get to that, go.
Yeah, but no, I'm
expecting you to say 4 wins or some shit.
I'm gonna give you my fake. I'm gonna give you my fake glass half full. You know, this team makes the playoff if, to what Bang said, if everything clicks. I think if everything clicks with Caleb, you see the talent match up with Ben's football IQ, and they're sitting there carving people up. Now, it doesn't have to be one of those teams where we have a record-breaking season, even though with the Bears, as we know, the QB records, the bars in hell. So it wouldn't take much for him to have that. But I think it's a season where, you know, if he does get, 4,000 to 4,200 yards, if he gets to 30 touchdowns, the 70 completion percentage that they want, that would lead us to being a playoff team, because I think that would get you around that 8 or 9 win mark. That could get you a wild card. The reason it won't is the exact same reason it will. Caleb Williams. If he struggles, if it's a thing where he's not getting it, he's not grasping it as fast as Ben wants him to, if it's not looking as clean as it needs to look, the defense will keep us in games. But one thing we've seen in Chicago, the defense can keep you in games and you still lose. Like, so that doesn't do much for me in terms of the positive reinforcement for them making the playoffs. So I think the same reason they make the playoffs is the same reason they won't make it. I think a lot of this, even though it is year 2 and we want to talk about giving them grace in the new system and all of that, it's going to fall on Caleb. Are you the guy that as advertised? And if you are, you don't have to be elite this season, but you have to take that step. It's like, all right, bro, this is what I do. I'm with a guy who is maximizing my skill set. And this is the, just a glimpse of what you can get with me as your quarterback. So that's how I feel about that.
All right, Courtney, are you in agreement with us, or do you have a different reason why the Bears won't make the playoffs? You were on mute. That's first round of the season. My trigger figure is my trigger figure slow today.
I live downtown. Okay, you know how many noises are police sirens? You're welcome.
Yes, that's not firing today. We go ahead.
Anyway. I think, if anything, the only reason why the Bears don't make the playoffs is because the schedule is absolutely brutal. It's a brutal schedule. And I don't know if you can overcome that this season in particular. Next season might be a different discussion depending on some of the personnel, how Caleb settles in, but that's a brutal schedule. I wouldn't expect them to make the playoffs considering the circumstances.
That is fair. So let's go to a numbers prediction here, man. Caleb Williams season numbers. Now we've all gone around and thought about what it'll be. We've heard what the expectations are from Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson saying he wants 70% completion and things like that, which I think is a solid number to aim for. So this is what I've got Caleb doing, and this is pending him playing at least 15 of the 17 games, right? So last year he had 3,500 yards passing. He had 20 touchdowns. I think it was something like 6 picks or something like that. I think Caleb will be the first 4,000-yard passer in the history of the Chicago Bears. I mean, if you threw for 35,000 yards, 3,500 yards in maybe the worst offense I've ever seen as a Chicago Bears fan with absolute incompetence around you, I think asking for another 500 passing yards isn't asking for a lot, especially with this new scheme. So I'm going to say he does become the first 4,000-yard passer. And I do think he's going to get a 70%. I think barely 70%, but I think he gets a 70% completion percentage. I think his preseason was like 68 or some shit like that. 28 passing touchdowns. I think 8 more touchdowns passing is the bare minimum. I'm not going to say 30. I think there's not even a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL who threw for 30 last year. I think it was Burrow, Allen, and not even Allen. Allen didn't throw 30. I think it was just Burrow and Lamar. I don't even think Pat threw 30. I think it was just Burrow and Lamar last year who threw for 30 passing touchdowns. So I'm going to say 28. 8 more than he had last season. And he's never been a big turnover guy. I'm more worried about fumbles more than I am picks. But I do think because the volume of passes he's going to throw is going to be larger than last year. And I think they're going to take more shots and more risks than they did last year. So I think it'll be more opportunities for him to throw interceptions. So I think he'll have 2 more than last year. 8 picks. So I got 4,000 yards passing, 70% completion percentage, 28 touchdowns thrown, and 8 interceptions for Caleb Williams in his 2025 campaign. Bang, what are your numbers for Caleb Williams in this season?
I think Caleb is going to just miss being a 4,000-yard passer. I think he's going to get to about 3,900. I do think he's going to have he's going to increase his amount of touchdowns. I'm thinking he's going to get close to 30. I do think he's going to have more interceptions. I'm going to put him at about 10 interceptions because I think Ben is going to want him to go out there and take some chances to see what happens. And I think that's going to count to 4 more interceptions than he had last year. I do think he's going to have a pretty decent season. I think there's a lot of focus on him being the first 4,000-yard passer. We even did that last year. We're thinking that, assuming that will happen. But no, I think he's going to just miss it, but he's still going to have a good season there with over 39,000 yards, about 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I don't think he's going to hit 70% completion, but I'll give him around 68. It's not going to be a bad season, though, for him.
All right, Dante, I'm eager to hear this. The floor is yours. What are your 2025 season numbers for Caleb Williams?
Oh, my season numbers are actually very similar to yours. I got 4,100 yards. I got 27 touchdowns. I got 8 interceptions. Like I said, I go back and watch last season for anybody who's really cares about this team. And you got we all got Sunday Ticket, or you got access to YouTube where you can watch a condensed game. Those offensive schemes were terrible. Like some of those games when he had 150, 160 yards. I think Ben Johnson's going to easily get him 250, 270 just off the strength of putting people in the position to succeed. Like I said, I know it's preseason. I don't give it too much weight. But one thing I did love was watching the way the scheme worked. You have offensive players, rather, skill position. They aren't running in the same spots. Well, you saw that a lot in offenses in the city for years, where you have guys who are running to the same spot, people running the same route, people are confused. So that the decision making, while they're still learning the offense, and you got to give them room for improvement, it seems to be, more crisp with this offense. So I think with that said, based on what we saw and what we're gonna see, unless the guy just stinks, I think Caleb is gonna have a lot of those games where he has 265, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, like that type shit. He gonna have those games where he blows up, but I think the norm for him is gonna be a lot higher, and I think that's a good thing. I think for years, as sad as it is, like I said, the bars in hell, we've had years where, like, when our quarterback threw for over 200 yards in the game, we're like, hey man, we was airing that bitch out today. Like, and I don't think that'll be the case with Ben Johnson. I think so. The yards will be there, the touchdowns will be there. Caleb has never turned the ball over his entire life. That's one thing I will say. That's not what he does. He doesn't turn the ball over. So I'll give him that. So yeah, I say 4,100, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions.
Courtney, what you got for us? How you think his numbers gonna look this season?
I also said around 4,100 yards. Is that crazy? Is that unrealistic?
No, I don't think it is.
And I said anywhere between 10 and 12 interceptions. I'd prefer the low end. But again, he's going to have to take chances, and some of those chances, again, interceptions aren't always a quarterback's fault. I don't like that it's always like
agreed. It should be like ERA, earned runs and unearned runs. I 100% agree with that.
I'll take it a step further. We make all these, we create the categories that are the statistics. There should be a category for interceptions that are tipped by the wide receiver. Like that should be on the receiver, not the quarterback. But go ahead.
But yeah, anywhere from 10 to 12 interceptions. And then about 60. I said I was with Bang. I was like 65 to 68% completion percentage.
That is very fair. I think all of ours are pretty fair, man. So let's go.
I said 25 to 27 passing touchdowns.
Okay. I think these are all fair numbers. I don't disagree with none of y'all. Now time for the moment of truth, as we've got the schedule here on this platform, man. So, I already know Dante should be some bullshit. I prepared mine last night, so I don't have to go through each game guessing. So I'm gonna go through my list of game by game of who I got winning. I wrote it last night, so this is not me guessing right now. So I'm gonna give after I go through each game, I'm going to give you where they're gonna finish in the division and if they make the playoffs or not. So Monday Night Football at the Lakefront on the 8th of September. Against the Minnesota Vikings at home. I have the Bears in a win. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game. I think this is going to be a close game. I think that Brian Flores' defense is going to be ready to play. But I think the Bears are going to win. I think the Bears are going to win now at home and have everybody feeling somewhat good after this first one. Now, week 2, in my opinion, way too early for this matchup. I felt like they were going to have Ben Johnson returning to Detroit later in the season. That would be like a Sunday night football type of game, but not. It's going to be a week 2 afternoon game, and I think Detroit's going to win. I think Detroit's going to win that game. I will talk more about Detroit next week, but I think that Detroit's going to take a little bit of a step back, but I still think it's a better team than the Bears, and I just think that a lot of the players and a lot of the fans are not happy with Ben for leaving, and I think they're going to take that out on us. I think it's going to be a good game, though. And then they come back to the crib week 3 against the Dallas Cowboys. I got that as a win. For the Bears. They go on the road to Las Vegas against the Raiders, the new look Raiders, Pete Carroll, Ashton Genty, Geno Smith. I think the Raiders are going to win that game. And I got us being 2-2 after the first month of the season. You've got a bye week after that. And then we got week 6, Monday Night Football, the scene of the crime. In Washington, D.C. or Orlando, Maryland, really, where they will be taking on the Washington Commanders. And it will be our second Caleb-Jaden matchup. I want a different outcome here. I just don't see it. I think Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback right now, and I think he will continue to be a better quarterback until I see otherwise. Even though I do think Washington's going to take a step back, I do not think Jaden's going to take a step back. I don't at all. I think Jaden's not going to have a C.J. Stroud year. I think he's the guy that we think he is, and I think Washington's going to win that game. Then you come home, which is the game that Bane's looking at is he wants the offense to look better, and I think they will look better against Dennis Allen's old team, the New Orleans Saints, and I think they get a win there. And then they go road on my birthday, October 26th. I will not be in Baltimore because I will not be spending my birthday in Baltimore, Maryland. The Baltimore Ravens should have been MVP, Lamar Jackson, and the Ravens, who are a Super Bowl contender. I think they're going to beat us, and I think they're going to blow us out. I do not think that's going to be a pretty afternoon whatsoever outside of my actual birthday. Then we go to another AFC North opponent on the road in Cincinnati. Love Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is one of the best, quarterbacks in the league. I think this is going to be a shootout game, but I think there's going to be so many chances for this Bears offense. That is a god-awful Cincinnati Bengals defense, and I think that Ben Johnson and Caleb, by this time in the season, should be able to exploit it. So I think the Bears are going to win that game. Then I think they come home against the New York Giants. I'm not trying to hear nothing about Jackson Dart or Russell Wilson or my boy Jameis Winston. I still think the Bears win this game, and they win it pretty easily. Heading to Minnesota. Minnesota will get their lick back at US Bank. They will get the dub. This is the game I'm speaking more of my heart more than my head, because we never beat this man at Soldier Field or anywhere on earth. You've got Aaron Rodgers making his final appearance at Soldier Field, him and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm not big on the Steelers like everybody else is, and that's outside of just my hate for Aaron Rodgers. I just don't think that's that good of a team, but I think they'll be prepared for that game, and I think that Aaron Rodgers would love to make a statement on the Bears his last time in Soldier Field. Having said that, like I said, this is a heart pick. I mean, this is a head pick. Heart pick, not a head pick. I got the Bears winning though. We can't allow him to beat us in Soldier Field in his last game there. So I'm gonna say Bears beat the Steelers. Then Black Friday, the first of many games on Amazon, NBA and NFL. Black Friday against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. I also think this is going to be a blowout. I don't know if it's going to be electric slide level like it was in 2017, but I do not think this is going to be a close game. I think we're going to look very hungover off the holidays. I think that's a loss. Then we go to Green Bay, our first time seeing the new look Packers with Micah Parsons. This is a late game. Like, we usually don't wait 11, 12 weeks to play the Green Bay Packers. I think we'll know who Jordan Love is by this time. I think Green Bay is going to win this game. I think they're going to win in Green Bay. And then we go back home for 2 games. I got the Bears beating the Cleveland Browns with ease at home, and then I've got them beating the Green Bay Packers at home, getting their look back. That's going to be the Saturday game. I think it's the day after Christmas. They have not confirmed the timing of this, but I do think it's going to be I don't know why Dante is laughing like we didn't almost sweep the niggas last year, but whatever. I think it's fair enough to say we can split against the Packers. I feel Dante going to say we're going to be like 4-15.
Did you hear that maniacal laugh?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He can't believe that I have a mitigated gall to think we're going to beat them when we were a fingernail away from sweeping these niggas last year. But anyway, Green Bay, I think they're going to win that one. I think that's going to be a Saturday night game. I think the Bears beat Green Bay. San Francisco, Sunday Night Football on the road. We never played well in San Francisco. And even though I think this Niners team is the worst we've seen them in a long time, I still think the Bears are going to lose in some stupid fashion just because we don't play well in the Bay Area. So I think San Francisco wins that. Final game of the season against the Detroit Lions. I think we beat the Detroit Lions on the final game of the season, and I think we're going to end the North 3-3. I think we split with all 3 teams in the division. So that finishes with my record. I think the Bears will finish 3rd in the North. I think they will be 9-8. I went back and forth of 8 wins or 9 wins. I decided to put my balls on the table and say 9 wins, and they will miss the playoffs. I do not think they're going to make it. I think you're going to need, at the bare minimum, 10 wins. And I do not think the Bears will get it. I think they can, but I don't think they will. So I got 9-8, 3rd in the North, and they barely missed the playoffs. So I'm going to let the Joker go next. Dante, the floor is yours.
Yeah, granted, this is just because the schedule is very difficult. Don't get me wrong. Like I just said, the man was going to go for 4,100 yards, not turn the ball over that much. But this schedule is difficult. So on my schedule, I do have a 2-game losing streak, a 4-game losing streak, and a 3-game losing streak. However, to JR's point, I think the start of the season is going to be the exact opposite of what people expect. I think it's going to get people's hopes up way too high, And then after that bye is gonna come crashing down. So this is how I got it going. We're gonna win week 1. I think week 1 is gonna be a game where we've seen Caleb play well against Brian Flores led defenses, so I'm not worried about that. We lose week 2 to the Lions. Week 3, Cowboys, not worried about them. I think we win week 4 against the Raiders. I think we start the season 3-1, and in typical Bear fashion, it's gonna have everybody on this high horse where we start talking crazy, and it's like, here we go. He's about to take off, blah blah blah. And then here comes reality. I think we lose to the Commanders. I think we beat New Orleans. I think we lose to Baltimore, and we also lose to Cincinnati. We beat the Giants, and then shit gets ugly for a second because I think we lose to the Vikings, we lose to the Steelers, we lose to Philly, and we lose to Green Bay. We beat the Browns, and then to close the season, it gets ugly again. Now, these may be close games. They'll be shootouts, but I don't think we come out on top. So I think to end the season, you lose to Green Bay, you lose in San Francisco, and you lose to Detroit. So I got the Bears at 6-11, missing the playoffs. But even at 6-11, if Ben has established his culture and they're fighting,
bro, you can't sell 6-11.
Okay.
No, you can't sell. If he's 6 games, he failed. There's no establishing culture of one win bigger than last year. No,
but you gotta think. No. This is why, because it's still, we talk about the eye test. So 6-11, 7. I had 7-10 at first. So it's one of these games that we lost that we could possibly win. I think I'm done slandering Joe Burrow, but I think the Bengals game is still a game we can win. So that would push us to 7-10. But that's really where I think this team sits right now. Like until I see Caleb officially turn that corner, and like again, the D line, we still think it's a problem. We still have to figure out how much of that can Dennis Allen scheme us out of. How much of that can he
I don't
make
think
up for the lack of talent?
I don't think
if he does that, then we at where you at with the 8 or 9. But
I don't think your
6 or 7, bro.
I don't think your prediction is wrong. I'm saying if it's 6 or 7, everybody has every right to kill Ben Johnson. You can't sell 2 more wins than last year. I don't give a damn how tough the schedule is.
This is my thing, but that's why I disagree, because you know me.
So if the Bears have 6 or 7 wins, you're going to be leaving the season content or happy. I will be irate. If this team wins anything less than 8 games, I will be a very unhappy person.
But here's why. Again, we talk about the eye test all the time. If we remove every chart, every number, and I watch these 17 games, and this team looks like they actually give a damn, which we all know for years. We've seen this team go out there and pretty much by week 9, the defense just lay down because it's like, yeah, y'all not gonna score.
Hold on. I gotta call out this asinine comment right there. This dude just say trading Roquan is the same as trading Parsons. Yo, look, man, go sit down. Go sit down. For the love of God, I want you.
Through this. Hold on. Let me work through this.
No, stop it, bro. I like Roquan, but we ain't got to sit up here and lie about what Roquan has been since he's been the same player. And I'll be real, last year wasn't that good. But anyway,
you just don't play linebackers like that.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying because it's the Bears and everything should be on the table. I'm just saying if it is less than 8 wins, I believe every media member, national and local, and every fan has a right to kill Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams.
And that's why I said that's my concern. Ben Johnson and how this team looks. Because I actually agree with both of you. If the Bears win 6-7 games, but you feel like there's hope, you see improvement, because it's on paper is a tough schedule. On paper, it's a tough schedule. If you see that, I personally wouldn't be mad at a 7-10 Bears team. If you do see some growth, because again, especially that back half, and I'm going to get to my predictions later, because the back half, but I think both of you all are right. But while I might see that, I believe that the national media are going to be like, except for Dan Orlovsky. He's going to be the only person that's going to be like, hey, I told you it's going to take some time.
Okay, I don't know. This dude in the comments is an idiot. I'm sorry. I just got to say that. You're a dumbass. I just got to say that. You get bring up Bryce Young. Stop it. Anyway, man, give us your prediction. I told Courtney she'll go last.
All right, so I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Dante here. I think the season is going to start off really good, though, and it's going to get Caleb and Ben Johnson in front of some of the national media having the little interviews and stuff. You'll see Caleb talking to Kimberly Martin and Maria Taylor on Monday Night Football, because I do have the Bears defeating Minnesota, game 1. Game 2, they're gonna lose to Detroit. Game 3, now that Micah Parsons ain't there, hey, I'm giving them a loss right there. And I do believe they're going to go to Las Vegas and defeat the Raiders. There's going to be a bye. And I do have the Bears beating the Washington Commanders. Like, look, I had to go and check this out. I had to go and do my little studies while we was doing this. And there's been one game where Cliff Kingsbury went against Dennis Allen, and the Saints kicked the Arizona Cardinals' ass. And here's the other thing. It's that second year of Cliff Kingsbury I be worried about. It ain't the first year. It's that second year. So I believe that it is very much possible that we could see a sophomore jinx when it comes to Jaden Daniels, because of the sophomore year slumps that Cliff Kingsbury offenses do go through. So I wouldn't be surprised at that, right? So then, of course, I have the Bears defeating the New Orleans Saints. So y'all might be looking at me and y'all might be saying, bang, you got the Bears losing one game before they go against the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, I do. But that's when shit starts to wet the bed. You're going to get our ass kicked by the Baltimore Ravens. Think we're going to lose that Bengals game, because I don't think we're going to be ready offensively against that team, and defensively against Joe Burrow. I do have the Bears defeating the Giants, but they're going to lose to the Vikings. They're going to lose to the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers' last game at Soldier Field. Do I want to say that? No, I don't want to say that, but do believe that's going to happen, because I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be way better than what people think. We're going to also lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. We're going to lose to the Green Bay Packers in that game. We're going to beat the Browns. We're going to lose against Green Bay again. We're going to defeat the 49ers, but lose to the 49ers, but I think we win the last game of the season against Detroit, because Detroit will be a playoff-bound team, and they're not really going to give a damn. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I think
7,
Detroit gonna
8
need
games.
that game. So you got 8 wins. Okay.
Yep, I got 8 wins. Bears 8-9.
I think that's fair. Detroit, I think, is gonna need every last one of these games. I truly do. I don't think they run away with shit in that division. I think it's gonna be a nice 1-2 race with them in Green Bay, and I hate to say it. But I think, like I said, not to say that Dante's isn't fair. I think, like I said, everything should be on the table with this team. I'm just saying that if it is 6 wins, unleash the flukes, Guru. I do not care what the media said at that point, because everything will be deserved to that point. Courtney, take us home. What's your record? Give us the games you think they're gonna. And bang! So they missed the playoffs. I'm guessing is what you're saying.
I think it's gonna be fight for it. I think they're gonna miss though.
Okay. All right.
And mind you, I have my predictions written down, and I'm still looking at this schedule, and there's some coin flips in here for me that I'm like, if they go 7-10, I'm like, okay. But if they go 10-7, I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it could go one of two ways for me. Vikings,
no, 100%. I agree.
Vikings, I think they win week 1 just because they have home field. Lose to the Lions. I think you beat Dallas at home. I think you lose to the Raiders. Actually, I think you could beat the Raiders. I think you could absolutely beat the Raiders. Yeah, I'm a mark week 4 as a win. Commanders week 6, I'm gonna take that as an L. So sorry. Saints win. Ravens L. Bengals win. Giants win at home for sure. Vikings on the road, I'm gonna chalk that up as a loss. Steelers win. Fuck Aaron Rodgers. Eagles L. Packers, I think that is an L. I think that week 14 is an L at Lambeau. Browns win. Packers at home. That's a win. 49ers, I think that's a loss. And then week 18. I don't know. I think that's a win. It feels like a win.
Okay. So how many wins?
Is this what it's like to have hope?
No, it's not delusional. I don't think anybody.
Like a grape.
I don't think anybody on the show has been delusional today, and it's a 180 from what our preview show was of last year. But Bang was saying 12 wins, so maybe that's a good omen.
Yeah, I ain't doing that no more. I ain't
doing.
Hope is a dangerous thing.
But I have. If you were to ask me what is a potential high point, here's my potential high point. Joe Burrow in his first season got injured, didn't finish the season, yada yada yada. His second season, what did they do?
What's the Super Bowl? That's the interesting thing about this season, because Courtney, what you were saying, is it delusional? No, I don't think it's delusional. I think this season could be anywhere. I don't think we get 6. I don't see 6. The only way I see 6 wins if we have absolutely terrible injury luck. Terrible injury luck. I can see 6. Outside of that, I think this could be anywhere from a 7-win season to a 12-win season. I really think it's that big of a gap. Neither outcome would surprise me, and I think every Bears fan should be prepared for either option. And I thought I was being, the 2-2 start. I think would be fine. But Bang, you and Dante kind of talked me into them starting fast and then falling off. That I could see. That would be classic Bears. When we sitting here heading into the bye week and we're 3-1, I could 100% see that, and then the wheels kind of falling off a little bit. That's why it's gonna be interesting season to me.
Because I had him 2-2 before the Micah trade, but that I think we beat the Cowboys now that he's not there. I think it'll be.
I had him beating the Cowboys even before.
I think we beat them.
Just because the Cowboys.
Yeah, I did too.
And I can't remember the last time the Bears lost to the Cowboys, home or away.
Hey, I remember I went to that coldest game ever. That thicker game, bear down, and I left at halftime because that shit was cold as hell.
So that's why it's gonna be an interesting season, man. But that is all we've got for y'all. We hit 6 o'clock on the dot. This is our preview special. Yeah, man, local hour will be back because the first hour and a half of show we will be dedicated to this madness.
Ooh, Bang, hit the music.
It is the local hour.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
So
what time is it?
6:01.
Oh, well, it's 7:01 here. I still got time to go watch Coach Prime, but okay.
Ew, East Coast.
You hate watching prom, even what you're doing out there?
They playing Georgia Tech, boy. I'm finna wear a Georgia Tech jersey. I don't give a fuck.
See what happens to when you're rooting against the brother, man.
What time the game start?
8.
Oh yeah, I'm on that.
Oh, I ain't
let me take that back. Let me take that back. I'm wearing the Georgia Tech stuff because I live in Atlanta and Georgia Tech is across the street from my house.
Yeah, you got.
I just wish Prime nothing but the best.
You got to let people know that because then people go call you all types of names and shit. They'll call you.
Yeah, they're gonna say where your red head at, that type of shit. So no, it's gonna be a good game. Week 0, everything getting started. Really getting the ball rolling. Week 0 was a success last week, and now we get Colorado versus Georgia Tech tonight. They got the young quarterback. He's from Georgia, so that's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, that comes on at 7.
Kid is already a millionaire. Hasn't taken a snap yet. You got to love it.
This game in Georgia, this game in Atlanta, or is it in Colorado?
No, I gotta check. I believe it's in Boulder.
Okay.
I am once again saying for the record that Auburn Baylor are playing this evening as well. Just saying.
How excited are we for college football first Saturday?
I'm so excited. Speaking of shameless plug time.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Courtney. We got
shameless plug all season long. So for the next 12 to 15 Saturdays, I will be at your favorite bars and tailgates across the Dallas-Fort Worth area, talking to fans about all things college footy. Yeah, you like that, Scott? All things college football.
Yeah, it's not really footy, but I'll let it rock.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to be at bars in and around Dallas. Just talking to fans, getting a pulse on the season. So I will be boots on the ground tomorrow at Myers Garden in Dallas, Texas. If you are in Dallas, pull up. I will be there. I did get permission from the bar. So pull up, come hang. I will be there all day long.
Shout out to professionalism.
Yes. Getting a beat on what fans are doing. Also, it is a Texas Longhorns bar. So it is going to be a very, very good time. Shout out to the Mayor's Garden team for extending that invite. Very, very grateful.
You ever seen that meme of the baby sleeping? That's me knowing I've got Premier League in the morning, and then I've got when Ohio State Texas kick off, I got college football all day.
You know what's sad? I used to really look forward to waking up because I already wake up to play golf early as hell on Saturdays. Like watching Premier League soccer in my golf cart, I don't even turn that shit on no more.
Yeah, because you root for Manchester
My
United.
team is so bad. My team is so bad. Like I don't even turn the games on no more. Like
it's 7 o'clock on the dot, and Manchester United losing again.
Not even trying to be no type of way. We really lost to a group of farmers. Like they probably really have second jobs.
Y'all lost to a club. Y'all lost to a club that sits 8,000 strong. In they are League 2. That's worse. That's like losing to a double-A team in baseball.
Bro, that's like the White Sox losing to the Kane County Cougars. Like,
damn,
it would be that bad.
Okay, that is great. That's an example I understand.
Bang, there are 4 soccer competitions each year. Manchester United is in 1 for the rest of the year, and it's not September yet. That's how bad it is. They have been eliminated. They from the one that they supposed to have a chance to be at least for a couple rounds. So
wait a minute. Wasn't Manchester United supposed to be like the one?
Oh, they used to be the Bulls. They used to be the Bulls. They used to be the Bulls from 1992 to 2013. They won 13 Premier League trophies.
But that's like David Beckham then.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beckham was on
and Wayne Rooney.
Beckham, Rooney,
Wayne Rooney on that one too.
Ronaldo.
And I know my footy. You know what I'm saying? I know my footy.
And we were about to have a run of black strikers, but then they brought Ronaldo back and just said, "Fuck all of y'all development." And now the team is god off.
If you want to watch black footballers, come over to North London, watch Arsenal Football Club. We got them. But I'm looking forward to watching Premier League in the morning, and then watching Ohio State and Texas. Watched a whole bunch of games.
FanDuel back where Micah, so I can get these.
Yeah, yes, Orlando. Y'all lost to migrant farmers. What happened to the almighty Manchester United?
Damn, you lost to your cousin.
He not wrong. I can't even say nothing.
Yeah, posh. That was nuts.
Wait, what happened?
We are back. We are back.
Yeah, Orlando. Yeah.
We are back.
Yeah. I'm shooting.
So anyway,
y'all are trying to get me canceled, and I don't appreciate it.
Speaking of footy, if you want to check out our predictions for this week, me and Tosin shot an episode of Soccer for Dummies live in Brooklyn this past week. Shout out to New York. Shout out to Brooklyn. My favorite borough.
Brooklyn. Okay.
I was in Brooklyn. It felt like, hey, bro, it felt like do the right thing outside, boy. It was fine women every 2 seconds. I done been to New York about 4 times, but it was always in the fall and winter. I ain't never experienced summer New York to this week. Awesome. All right. So, but yeah, check that out. It's on the HB Media page right now. Me and Tosin Soccer with Dummies. We give our match week 3 previews. And we also talk about Tosin, sorry ass Manchester United. So yeah, check that out. Y'all know to follow me at Barchair Scott. Follow Bang at JR Bang. Follow Courtney at 100 Call Bro. And Courtney, tell the name of the segment.
Oh yeah. Are you guys ready for this?
Let's go.
Dialed in.
Because the name is 1-800 Call Bro.
But also like when somebody's left.
Yeah.
This is why they pay me the big bucks, Bang.
Yeah. So look out for that. Dialing It will be on. I'm not gonna hold you each and every week. Follow Dante at October's on Tay, and we will be back with y'all next Friday. Monday we're off because it's a holiday. I'll be grilling and drinking adult beverages. So yeah, we'll be back next Friday. We're gonna recap Eagles and Cowboys, and then we're gonna do our full NFL season preview that has nothing to do with the Bears. So that'll be fun as well. And then September 8th, be back to our twice a week schedule, man. So that's all I got. Follow all of us on socials. Y'all have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy all the sports you watch. And we're going to holler at y'all in 1 week. We up out of here.